Okay, so we are going to talk about a strategy called the somebody chart. And this strategy helps us summarize. So when we summarize something, we put it in our own words and we take the most important parts of a text or a page or an article, whatever. We take the most important parts and we put it all together in a paragraph. That's a summary. Okay, so a summary is the most important parts of a text put together in a paragraph. Okay, we're going to read page 13 of Hatchet together, and then we're going to fill out this chart and write a paragraph, write a summary. Okay, I'm going to read it to you. For a time that he could not understand, Brian could do nothing. Even after his mind began working and he could see what had happened, he could do nothing. It was as if his hands and arms were lead. Then he looked for ways for it to not have happened. Be asleep. His mind screamed at the pilot, just to be asleep, and your eyes will open now, and your hands will take controls, and your feet will move to the pedals. But it did not happen. The pilot did not move except that his head rolled on a neck possibly loose. The pilot did not move except that his head rolled a neck impossibly loose as the plane hit a small bit of turbulence. The plane. Okay, so on this page, Brian, he is thinking of ways that this could be different. He's thinking for ways that this situation that he's in could not have happened. So he's praying. He's really hoping that this person, this pilot, that he's just asleep and that his eyes will open and that his hands will take the pedals again. His hands will take to the controls and his feet is going to move back to the pedals, but it didn't happen because the pilot, unfortunately, we know that he passed away. So we're going to fill out this chart and we're going to summarize page 13 using this chart. So this is called the somebody chart. So we can fill this out. It's called the somebody chart, and we fill out all these parts in the pink. Somebody wanted but so, okay? So I'm going to highlight those. Somebody wanted but so. We have to answer these questions, okay? Let me get a different color. Let's just use black. So somebody, who is somebody? The somebody of this page is Brian. So Brian, a 13-year-old boy who has never flew a plane before. Okay, what did Brian want? Okay, the text says that he looked for ways for it to not happen, and he hoped that the pilot was just asleep. So he wants the pilot to be alive. He wants him for this to all be a dream and for the pilot to come back alive. So he wants the pilot to be alive and to continue to fly the plane. Okay, but then what happened? What happened? The pilot is dead. And had a heart attack. He cannot come back alive. Okay? So what will they have to do? What would Brian have to do? Brian has to fly the plane by himself. Okay, so now we have all this information here. We have this chart filled out, so now we can summarize page 13. So we're going to use this to summarize. I'm going to make a text box down here. And it's going to be kind of big. And we are going to type. So let me move. Okay. Let's see. Let's not do it on here. Let's do it on a Google Doc so it'll look the way that you have it. So let's go over here to Google Docs and let's make a new one. Okay, so I'm going to name this Summary of page 13. Okay. So now we're going to start out our, always start out with an indent. So I just hit tab. So now the first part says somebody. So Brian of 13, so we're going to summarize this page using our somebody chart. So in the first sentence, I'm going to say Brian is a 13-year-old who has never flown a plane. He is in the plane with the pilot, but the pilot is unable to fly the plane anymore. Okay, so what's our next part say? Wanted. He wants the pilot to be alive and continue to fly the plane. So I'm going to say on page 13, Brian wants the pilot to wake back up and fly the plane. Okay. But the pilot is dead and had a heart attack. He cannot come back alive. So I'm going to say, however, the pilot is dead and he cannot come back alive. So what will they have to do? So what will they have to do? Brian realizes that he will have to fly the plane himself. So what we did here is we used this somebody chart. We used all this information and all these questions to write this summary. So what you're going to do is I'm going to give you another page to summarize, and you're going to use the somebody chart to summarize a page. This needs to be changed to realize this. Okay,